Hello everyone, how are you all? So before I start the session, I want to introduce myself. I'm Sailaja.
Hi, Shailaja.
Hello everyone. So my name is Sailaja. I have 11 years experience in the IT industry. So from the past 4 years, I've been working on Devops. My initial career was all on Linux. I do consulting and training assignments. I travel on job. I do consulting assignments for companies like Deloitte, Cognizant, Mindtree, and so on. So that's about me. So I want you guys to introduce yourself. Just tell me your profile, name, profile, and why DevOps. So Karun, Karun, Karun. And while joining, please join with a name. Please do that. Please join with a name. Nageshwar, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Shailaja. Myself, I have 4 years of experience as a
Isaac?
RVR developer, Ruby and Rails developer.
No, Ruby on Rails. Okay, good. Okay.
I'm planning to learn AWS. Earlier, I have some good knowledge about AWS. I'm planning to learn DevOps.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Prashant.
Yeah, hi Shailaja. Hello everyone. Good morning. I'm based in Chennai. I work for Computer Sciences Corporation. I started my IT career in 2013, and since then I'm working in middleware domain.
Okay.
So I'm a system administrator basically, and I'm supporting Microsoft tools, IIS Desktop, IBM tools, WebSphere, and MQ.
Mhm.
So my client is right now moving out of CSE.
Mhm.
So I'm having an open position in a DevOps field. So I thought I could get myself trained in another 2 months, and maybe I could opt for that. Basically, I want to train myself to clear the uh, technical discussion round at least, since it's an internal movement within the company itself.
Okay. Okay.
So, and looking at the market trend, and there is a huge demand for DevOps professionals. So I thought I could move to the field when there is an opening itself and when opportunity knocks.
Mhm. Correct. Correct. Okay.
So
Nice to know.
yeah, that's it about myself.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. So Shibashish, can you introduce yourself? Can you introduce yourself? You there, Shibashish? And Anusha. And who is waiting for name? I don't know.
Yeah, hi, my name is Basis. Basically, I'm working as a Linux system engineer in Airtel India. Earlier, I was working in IBM in Bangalore location. Currently, I'm working in Noida, Uttar Pradesh.
Oh.
I have around 2 years of experience.
Okay. So why DevOps?
Actually, I want to automate my infrastructure, and I want to switch my career. That's why I'm looking for DevOps technology.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Who is waiting for name? I see a waiting for name. Who is this? Fine. So I'm starting the demo now.
Okay.
During the demo, I want everybody on mute, okay? Unless until if you have a concern, you can unmute yourself and talk. Or else, I want everybody on mute so that there is no disturbance and the recording also goes well so that you can follow later. Okay? So now I asked everyone why DevOps? Why is DevOps so famous now? Why is it emerging in the market? The trends have changed, the culture has changed. If you talk to any company now, they tell that I'm following DevOps methodology, and what I'm doing is automation. So where did it come from? Why did people start using DevOps? So I hope everybody here has an idea of agile methodology. Everybody has an idea of agile methodology here. But I'll give you a heads up of that as well. In the previous days, people used to use something called as waterfall model. So we are discussing the way the products are developed. Okay, this is the way that products are developed. They plan the product according to the model they're following. So in the waterfall model, for example, if I'm writing 1039 lines of code for my project, okay, so unless until all the lines of code are written, I cannot take it to build. Unless until my lines of code are built, I cannot take it to release. So what if there is a rollback? Rollback means my particular lines of code doesn't build. Okay, there is a problem with my code. So I found out that there are 13 errors. What will I do? Is it that easy to find out 13 errors in that many lines of code? And please understand, when you are working in a project, you're not the only one editing the file. Suppose we are 9 people in this training right now, 9 of us can be working on the same file. I can be sure. So how will I know how many errors are responsible by the dev team or the development team where they integrated Git or something like that? How would I know? How would I know? It was like impossible task for people to find out the errors, correcting them, taking for release. So if the project was supposed to release in Jan, it would go till at least March or April for the release. So we were taking extra time. Okay, we were taking extra time. This has, it was a very big pitfall in the software development process. So unless until you have huge projects, you don't go for a waterfall model. Inside waterfall model, there is something called as iterative model. So that is a different scenario. But now what I want you to understand is after waterfall, people have started thinking differently. So how do I actually uh, s- develop my product better? How do I make it better? How do I make my performance, my speed at which I'm going to the market better? So then came something called as agile. Agile is not called as any methodology or anything, it is called as a movement. So it is called as a movement for the reason there is a cultural and a drastic change in the mindset of the people who were working previously in other models. So in Agile, what happens, So I'll get a client call. I am the project manager and I'll get a client call. I have a discussion with my client. When I have my discussion with my client, what he does is he gives me some inputs. So these inputs are called as requirement specifications. I hope you all know that. So requirement specs they are called as. When I get my requirement specifications, these are called as user stories. These are called as user stories in agile process. And then, for example, he'll give me 20 requirement specifications. Okay, out of which I'll prioritize. Okay, prioritize and I'll plan. Okay, so I don't want 20 of them to go directly into development. I'll prioritize 16 of them. Okay, so I'll prioritize my user stories which are going into development. This is called as product backlog. Okay, and please understand, when I have my product backlog ready, I told that I have 16 different user stories or requirement specifications from the client. What would I do is I will divide this 16 into 4 different modules. Okay, dev module, db module, or ui module, like that I will divide my 16 user stories into 4 modules. Modules are called as sprints. Okay, is this clear till here? Is this clear till here, everyone?
Yes, sir, like that.
So when I'm telling sprints, right, sprints are your set of requirement specifications that you're going to work on. So what are the tasks that you are working on that sprint? What will you do? How will you plan? And everything you will write in something called a sprint backlog. Okay. So I just want to show you this. I have images. Let me show you them. Hmm. These are my user stories. So I'll get user stories like this. Can you all see? Okay. These are my user stories. Okay. And out of which I'll make a prioritized list of product backlog, right? So let me show you a product backlog. This is my product backlog. I'll see and prioritize what goes into development first. Now I'll plan my sprint. Sprint is module. That means these three go into sprint 1, these 4 can go to sprint 2, these 3 can go to sprint 3. Like that, I will plan my sprint. Okay? Is it clear till here? And now, what will I do for that sprint? What I have to do? So each and every sprint has a task, right? You have a requirement specification means you can write down this task as user stories and tasks on day 1, how many hours did you work and how many days it will take. So like this you will make out. The advantage of doing in this process is that you have a proper documentation of what you have done for that particular module or sprint. Correct? Correct. I'll give you a small example. Okay, so I have suppose I have 11 years of experience. I worked on so many projects in the company. If I wanted to move to another one, I got a very really good offer, and I moved to a new company. So my current company asks me to knowledge transfer. So are you really sure that 11 years of experience I could do in 2 months? So I can give details of the project and all the other stuff, but I won't be able to properly communicate the tasks I have done. Maybe later in life, the person who is replacing me might need to understand what task that Sailaja has done for this particular sprint. So if I'm following Agile, she has information, right? Correct or not? Correct or not? So this is a proper way for a development process which was planned. And after my sprint is done, so I have something called as a sprint retrospective. So sprint retrospective it's like a detailed discussion between the team members. Okay, so we are 9 people in this training right now. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes, Sailaja.
Okay, so actually something is like audio.
Yes.
That's why I'm asking. Thanks. So we are actually here, and we are a team of people working together inside sprint retrospective. So for example, my sprint 1 is ready, so we will have a discussion. So how did sprint 1 go? What were the positive things? What were the backlogs, or what were the loopholes that we have cleared? And if we want to actually improve that sprint, is there any way? So we will give a client feedback. We will go back to him and say, hey client, see, we have our sprint ready, and we suggest you to do this particular improvisation for your particular module. So rather him giving a feedback, we give him a heads up. So that is how we've been working. Okay, so the client likes our feedback, tells us to work on the feedback. So what we will do is, for example, if it is a simple task of changing an image in a web browser, we will do on the day itself. We are here working on his feedback. So that is a very important thing and cause of concern, because we are always involving him in the process of his product development. Am I clear? So my sprint 1 is ready. So what I'll do is, I'll build it, I'll test it, I'll release it. Like that, sprint 2 ready, sprint 3 ready. So what happened was there was a drastic change in the way people were actually developing these products. So people found out that if I follow agile, my product is going to market earlier. So my product, if it is planned in Jan, by Jan end I was able to deliver. This is how my development is processed. Okay, development process is very nicely planned using agile movement. Okay, and please understand, after all this I just wanted to tell you how a company works in agile in a company. So what happens is, in the morning when you go to office, you will have something called as a scrum meeting. Scrum meeting is just like a stand-up meeting with the team of people we are working with. So usually what happens, we in a team meet over coffee or lunch, but we never talk about our work, right? Here, inside scrum meetings, you have to talk about your work. For example, if I'm working with Prashant, I have to tell him how my work is going to sit with his work, and he has to tell me if there are any overlay problems. So we will talk about our work so that our sprint goes smoothly, and then all this comes up. User stories, product backlog, planning sprints, sprint backlog, sprint retrospective. After the sprint retrospective, for example, I am the project manager, I'll not see your sprint backlog, I'll not see your sprint retrospective. I'll be having an agile Jira ready with me here. I'll actually have install a Jira over which I'll specify tasks and everything. I have something called as a burn down chart. I can see, if I follow the burn down chart, I will be able to understand how my team is performing. So burn down chart looks something like this. Okay, so number of days versus work remaining. So I will be knowing how fast or how slow my team is going in their work. Am I clear till here? So when I have a very beautiful thing here as an agile, why do I need to go for DevOps? So please understand, agile concentrates only on development. For example, there are two sets of people inside a company, a development team and an operations team. So what is development team doing is, development team is developing products or they're writing code, and operations team is responsible for deploying that code. Let me divide that in a way. Okay, deploy is taking your product for release. Okay, simply imagine that deploy is taking your product for release. So my development is very well planned, correct? I'm following agile. I'm not planning my operations at all. So for example, my sprint 1 is ready. These guys are at sprint 1. Sprint 2 is ready. These people are still at sprint 1. My sprint 3 is ready. Now they are at sprint 2 to release the sprint 2. So sprint 4 is ready. Like that, I am actually developing so fast, and my deployment is happening at a very slow rate. The rate at which I am developing, I'm not able to deploy. That doesn't make sense, right? I have a product ready with me. I'm not able to show my client. That doesn't really make sense. So why is it happening? So there is always a loophole of communication gap between the development and operations team. I will tell you, in a company, if you have worked, when do you usually contact your system administrator? Have you ever called a system administrator in your company?
Yes.
When do you do that? Or if you are a system administrator, when do you get a call?
When application is not working.
When applications are not working, server variables are a failure, or the best example I'll give you. So whenever their email is not working. So for example, if I'm working at Amazon, suppose I'm working at Amazon, Sailaja at Amazon.com is lost. It says that it cannot send or receive mails. First thing I'll do is I'll take my phone and call the system administrator and say, hey system admin, my email is not working. Correct or not? Correct or not?
Yes.
Unless until there is
Yes.
some trouble, we are not involving them inside our team. That is true. But please understand, they are a part of the process. They are actually the persons responsible for the entire infrastructure and the deployment process, which is really, really important for a software development life cycle. But we're not involving them. We are in a team, but we are not even working together at any part of the life cycle of the project. So to avoid this conflicts, to avoid this distance, people have come up with something called as DevOps. DevOps is a collaboration relation between development and operations team so that your product can get better. How am I able to achieve that? How am I able to achieve that? So I am able to achieve that with the set of tool set that it has given me. And this tool set is helping me automate a lot of things. This is the keyword for DevOps, automation. And if I'm following DevOps, I am responsible from development till deployment. So for example, I'll give you a simple example here. Have you ever seen a Java developer in your company? So what does a Java developer do? Java developer,
They're working on.
they're working,
They're working on that.
they're writing code.
They're developing code.
Yeah, they're writing code, lots of code. So as they write a code, for example, today I'm a Java developer, I wrote some code. My code works fine on my machine. I send it to testing team. Testing, the code works fine. The developer starts developing the next set of codes, right? Next set of codes. He doesn't even bother what happened to the previous code. So here the development team considers themselves that they are only a part of development, and testing team only a part of testing. So testing done, their work is done. And system admin, not build and release managers, that if the build and release is done, their work is done. Here nobody is owing the entire project life cycle. So here, if you are a DevOps person, you are there from development till deployment in the project. So that was the best example I could give you. So developers think that they are only responsible for developing the code, but please understand, the code is the ecosystem of the software development. Whatever they are writing is what we are seeing now, either it is on a mobile app or in a web browser, right? So for that reason, DevOps has emerged to be famous, because a person who is able to own a project lifecycle takes the entire responsibility. Am I clear till here? So now I told you that DevOps is achieving automation. How does it achieve automation? What is automation? So for example, 11 years back when I used to work for a company, I started my career as a Linux engineer. Far then, Linux was just emerging, okay? So from the past, I think 17 years people have been working. So it was a new operating system that I worked on. Nobody used to work on Linux. We used to work on Linux. So if I worked on a Linux machine, I had to install Linux machine. Installing Linux machine takes 2 hours of time. I had to change CDs and do a lot of the things. And then I have to set up a database server. It will take another half an hour. So 2.5 hours for setting up one machine. So what if I am the system administrator responsible for the infrastructure of 100 machines? So it won't take 200 hours because I can take a disk image. True. So what happens to the configuration files? So everything has to be done manually. Each and every edit, I had to go to each and every machine. If there is any configuration edit, I had to do manually or by using shell scripting. Okay, so even if I'm automating with shell scripting, I'm not sure how many machines I connected one time. Okay, so there was a lot of confusion and there was a lot of manual intervention when infrastructure setup was considered. But later, now I'm using DevOps methodology, I'm able to set up 4 production machines in 52 minutes from installation till setup. Database, either it is MongoDB or MySQL or SQL Server or any other Postgres, I'm able to do in 52 minutes. How much time I'm saving? 200 hours versus some 80 hours or like that. A lot of time is saved, right? So that is what DevOps is giving me nowadays. Everything can be automated. So inside my training, I'll be taking you through. If you're not a Linux person, first there will be a Linux introduction. If you are a Linux person, you don't need Linux introduction at all. So it's basic how you use a Linux machine. Okay, and then first module I'll be discussing is source control management. I can call it as version control. And then the tool I'm discussing here is Git. Second one is continuous integration. The tool I'm going to discuss is Jenkins, Maven, and a lot of tools I'm going to discuss: Sonar, JUnit, lots of them. I can't write. And then continuous deployment. In this configuration management, Chef and Puppet is what I'm going to discuss. And fourth one is continuous monitoring. Nagios is what I'm going to discuss. Docker, Vagrant, Introduction to AWS. That's it. Yeah. So this is how my course is structured. So I'll start with a version control and I'll go on till my introduction to AWS is done. So how does it look? Is it fine? You have any concerns?
Yeah, I have some concern. Hello. I have some concern
Yeah, go ahead. Who is this?
regarding continuous. Sibas is here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding continuous monitoring, only we were discussing about Nagios monitoring, right?
Correct.
We are not able to use any other monitoring tool.
No, we are not. There are lots of them. So Zabbix is there, Elasticsearch is there. Lots
Yeah,
of them are there for
yeah.
infrastructure monitoring. Okay. So these are the tools that.
So what will be the time? What will be the duration for all of these courses? Means this topic. What will be the duration?
Duration, it would be 35 to 40 hours.
Yeah.
So first I'll be taking
So
theory, then lab, right? So lab would take some time. 35 to 40 hours I'll take
okay.
for the training.
What will be the basic
Shailaja,
prerequisite for it?
Prerequisite.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, you have. If you're a Linux person, it is good.
Yeah, I'm a Linux admin
So
only.
Linux persons find it really comfortable in the zone of working in DevOps because all the setups that you're doing are entirely on Linux, most of them. Okay, if you're not, you have to be.
And regarding the
Mhm.
introduction to AWS,
Mhm.
only you will discuss about which kind of means will you discuss about EC2 console? Will you
Only EC2
or
access
anything
I'll
else?
discuss and I'll say what does a cloud give, what is cloud, what are the services that are that we can get from cloud. It's basic, very basic AWS because AWS has 56 services. It's a entire training by itself. Okay, I do AWS training as well, but in here DevOps I do introduction. Okay,
Okay,
Nageshwar, you have some concern?
fine.
yeah, me also having same concern about AWS only.
Okay, AWS, it's in a different course. This is DevOps, and the other one, if you want to, actually DevOps plus AWS is famous now. If you have both of them, your resume is in the top of the market. That is like that. Which
Uh,
service can
right now, I'm looking for DevOps plus AWS.
Okay.
Mm. And what about placement? Any idea about that?
And what is
What
it?
about placement?
I,
Placement.
I
Actually, we are. I'm doing this courses only for switching my job.
Mhm.
So any kind of opportunity like that?
Placement. I don't know. I am not
Shailaja,
the one you need to talk. You need to talk to the consultancy. I am just a trainer. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, Shailaja Prashant here.
See, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like as I told you earlier, I'm a complete system administrator, so I don't have any knowledge when it comes to development or scripting basically.
Hmm.
I hear from people that a scripting language like Python or shell scripting would obviously be helpful when it comes to DevOps field.
Correct.
So, would you be giving a session on the basics of scripting, or would you be training us for that role basically? Because
Usually,
we come from a background where scripting is of less use mainly.
correct.
So,
So,
since I'm switching
Prashant,
over my field,
I understand.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
scripting, shell scripting is what I do for DevOps. I'm a Linux person, so
okay,
I'm totally into shell scripting. Okay, shell scripting also is good. If you want, I can just give you a heads up how shell scripting works. How do you write it? When I have a Linux class, I can do that. So, not deep dive, just basics.
okay,
So what is happening
okay,
is, people are asking. Some people are asking shell scripting. Some are asking Python. There is no standardized way where DevOps can be, bundled as one module. For example, if you're working on .NET or some Java, right? If you learn some set of things like commands or any syntax, that's enough. But in DevOps, it's not a technology, it's a methodology, it's a process that people are following. So whatever the tools I'm specifying, right, these are minimal, there are multiple tools. So for example,
yeah,
version control, we can go for SVN, there is clear case, lots of them are there.
subversion, yes,
So yeah, and continuous deployment. If you go Chef, Puppet, I train on Ansible. Salt Stack is there.
Ansible,
Continuous monitoring. There are lots of tools. So why am I only concentrating on this? Because I've been training from the past 3 years. I've moved on. I used to initially train only in Puppet. Then I had started training in Chef as well. So at least you need to have two configuration management tools. So that is what I have found out from the market. So since the market trend is this, we are training on this. Okay, and shell scripting, Python is a different programming language. It's a different scripting language that you have to take if you are interested as a course. And shell scripting, I can give you a heads up. No problem.
okay, and whatever we can achieve using Python, it can be achieved using shell scripting, right? There is no,
Yes. Yes, but Python is a lightweight scripting language, Lightweight means it doesn't
okay,
put load on the server. Python, so whatever the Linux operating system is installed with a installer called as Anaconda installer. That is when,
okay,
18 years ago that Python came into existence. So
okay,
I know Python, but I cannot write server-side scripting in Python. So Python is totally
okay,
different, and it's a lightweight programming language, and it's not putting load on servers. That is the reason why people are actually more keen to go to Python. So one of the
okay,
scripting language, definitely you need to have Prashant. That is there. Okay.
okay, okay, sure, thanks.
Any more concerns? Anyone?
Yeah, regarding chef. Okay. Can we able to use Ruby scripting instead of self scripting?
No, no.
Yeah, of course we need to.
You know Ruby, right? You know Ruby? Do you know Ruby? You work on Ruby on Rails.
Ruby.
I worked on Ruby.
Yeah, I know Ruby.
Okay, actually, Ruby is also helpful. When you are writing chef's recipes, right? You write them in Ruby. You can automate things in Ruby,
Yes.
Python, shell scripting, Perl. These are all the languages, Linux is supporting. So if you are at least good at one of these, you are actually good to go with the DevOps. Okay?
So you can able to provide self scripting training, right?
Not the entire shell scripting training. I'll give you a heads up, I said. What is it? How does it work?
Okay.
Okay, so shell scripting
Okay.
is like when you do Linux administration course, you'll have detailed shell scripting course. Okay, but now I will introduce you to
Yes,
sedoc
sir.
and all those. A little bit heads up, I'll give you. No problem. Okay. That doesn't create any trouble. It's good. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more concerns,
Thank you.
guys? So next, if we are meeting, I'll be talking about each and every module in the next session. If you have no concerns, I want to end the session. Any more concerns you have?
Yeah, Shailaja, Prashant here.
Ha, Prashant. Hey, guys, I just Prashant. Wait a second, and I'll be showing you Jira as well. I didn't write Jira, so here add Jira. Okay, Prashant, go ahead. Sorry.
Is it monitoring tool? Is it monitoring
No,
tool?
no, it's a project management tool. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, Prashant, go ahead.
Yeah, Shailaja, what would be the timing if we are proceeding with the course? Like since we are working on the weekdays, and I am looking for a fast track course which would be over in for probably 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
As I told you, I need to train myself and attend the technical discussion before I move on to the next project.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a fast track course which would be getting over in less than 3 weeks mainly.
Okay.
So, is that a possible option to work it out? I'm not sure whether this is a normal pace course, and you have told that it would go on for 35 to 40 hours. So, if it's only on weekdays or only during weekends, I see that going beyond a month. So, that is why I'm asking this. When would be the session conducted?
Prashant, I'll be. I can do that. Okay. So let me get back to you on that. Hmm?
Okay, sure, sure. Thank you.
Any more concerns? Everything is good, guys. Everyone is good.
Yeah. Sorry, I have one concern again.
Now go ahead.
Uh, regarding weekdays, can you able to get from 9 o'clock, otherwise 8 to 9 o'clock session
Morning, huh?
morning? Yes,
Weekdays 8 to 9.
8 to 9, otherwise 7 to 9. As soon as possible, I can able to complete my course.
So
Is it possible?
everybody is concerned in the same way. Shivaji, let me get back to you on this. I need to talk to the consultants. I need to look at my time and adjust and get back to you. If there is a fast track course, rather taking a hour a daily, I will take 2 hours per day. So that we can finish fast. That is how I have to plan, right? So
Okay.
that is the reason
Yeah.
why. Please give me time on this. Prashant and Shivashish, I'll get back to you on this.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Okay then, team. Thank you so much for joining the demo. Have a great day.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Shailaja.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Chetan.